We are going to call the Novi Board of Education regular meeting to order. Today is October 17th. If we can please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I can get a motion for approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Recommended by Mr. Smith and supported by Mrs. Bodwine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. We will now move on to celebrations, and we have two celebrations this evening. We are going to start with the 2024 National Merit Semifinalist. Mr. Micah.
Thank you. So tonight, we have a distinct pleasure of acknowledging several of our students who have achieved a tremendously prestigious honor of being recognized as a National Merit Semifinalist. To date, there are 37 seniors who have reached the milestone of receiving the National Merit Semifinalist designation, and we have several here tonight. Last spring, 1.5 million high school juniors entered the National Merit Scholarship Program, and they do that by taking the PSAT, National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, and that's the initial program screening, and only 16,000 students across the entire United States are qualified as semifinalists. Our 37 seniors are among the highest scoring entrants in the state of Michigan. Also very excited to say that we've shifted our program slightly in that we're having a recognition ceremony for them at the end of the month, where we'll also be acknowledging our commended students, of which we have 51 of them. So I know that we have several of our students in the audience today. What I would love to do is give each of them an opportunity to come to the podium. And if you could just say your name, and we will acknowledge each of you, and then I think make sure that you're recognized. I do want to say that we do have our breakfast coming up as well. So I think we'll start with you if you'd like to come up and just say your name.
Hello, my name is Catherine Jose.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, Ava, do you want to come up?
Hi, I'm Ava Martinenko.
Congratulations.
And Joanna, want to come up?
Hi there, I'm Joanna Phillip.
And now if we could have maybe all three of you come up here and we'll just get a picture of you real quick in front of the board.
Good job, ladies. Awesome.
Congratulations. Congratulations to the three of you and also to your 34 senior colleagues that have achieved this designation. We'll have an opportunity to recognize you more fully at the breakfast, which is coming up in just a couple weeks, and we appreciate all of your efforts in representing our district.
Thank you, Mr. Micah, and thank you to our students who... She's not happy. Thank you to our students for taking time out of your busy schedules to be recognized at our board meeting tonight. We really appreciate all of that. So we're going to move on to the 2024 National Principals Month. Mr. Micah?
Yes, so October is a month where we recognize our principals, and so October 2024 is recognized as National Principals Month, and I have a resolution, if it's okay, I'd like to read.
Please.
Whereas the National Association of Secondary School Principals and the National Association of Elementary School Principals and the American Federation of School Administrators have declared the month of October National Principals Month. Whereas principals and assistant principals are expected to be educational visionaries, instructional leaders, assessment experts, disciplinarians, community builders, public relations experts, budget analysts, facility managers, special program administrators, and guardians of various legal, contractual, and policy mandates and initiatives, as well as being entrusted with young people, our most valuable resource. Whereas principals set the academic tone for their schools and work collaboratively with teachers and teacher leaders to develop and maintain high curriculum standards, develop mission statements, and set performance goals and objectives. And whereas the vision, dedication, and determination of a principal provides the mobilizing force behind any school reform effort. Whereas leadership is second only to classroom instruction among all school-related factors that contribute to what students learn at school, according to the research conducted by the Wallace Foundation. Whereas NESSP Principal of the Year program began in 1993 as a means to recognize outstanding middle and high school level principals who have exceeded in providing high-quality instruction, as well as the National Association of Elementary School Principals have done that in 1993. We celebrate National Principals Month, and we'd like to honor our elementary, middle, and high school principals and recognize the importance of school leadership in ensuring that every child has access to a high-quality education. So therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education recognizes the month of October as National Principals Month and honors the contribution of the Novi Community School District principals, assistant principals, and deans of students. I believe that we have at least one of our principals here, so we're going to start with Miss Alice Kazee, the Novi Woods Elementary principal. Mr. Ryan Francis from Deerfield Elementary. Jennifer Murphy, Parkview Elementary. Joy Danforth, Orchard Hills Elementary. Katie Dinkelman, Village Oaks Elementary. Lisa Fenchel, Novi Meadows Elementary. John Brickey, Novi Meadows Elementary. Emily Wrights, Novi Meadows Elementary. Robert Baker, Novi Middle School. Angie Southworth, Novi Middle School. David Sinopoli Smith, Novi Middle School. Nicole Carter, proud principal of Novi High School. Ron Kane, Novi High School. Sarah Lephart, Novi High School. Michelle Ethorn, Novi High School. And Jacqueline Smith, Novi High School.
Thank you, Mr. Micah. If I may get a motion for the resolution as presented? Mrs. Bodwine? I won't make you reread the whole thing.
I move that we pass the resolution as presented.
Do we have
with
support?
Appreciation and thanks to all the supporters.
Support.
Recommended by Mrs. Bodwine and supported by Mr. Mena. Any comments or? Go ahead.
Yes. I just want to say that I have not had the personal chance to interact as a parent with all of the people on this list, but I have with quite a few of them. And my experiences have always just been amazing with this district and these administrators. And I do think this particular role is one of the most challenging because they are face-to-face with children, with parents, with the admin team, and with their teachers. And so you can think about the amount of effort it takes to switch between coaching up a teacher and consoling a 5-year-old. Like, that's a big switch in how you're dealing with your day. And I do really applaud all of their work and the tone that they set for the excellence in our district. So thank you. Thank you. And to all of you that are here, you are seen and appreciated, and we're so very grateful that you're here.
Thank you, Mrs. Bodwine. Do we have any other comments? I think Betsy said it so nicely for
Yeah.
all of us, and we really appreciate that. Thank you, Alice, for being here tonight, and with the therapy dog, just to excite the room a little bit.
I didn't even know he was back there.
That's great.
It's been a long day for her, so
All right.
that's great.
Seeing no further comment, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. We are going to move on to reports to the board, but before we do that, we did have our students come tonight, and you are welcome to stay. But usually after we do our recognition and celebration, we do give you an opportunity to sneak out if you have things to do or family time, sports, whatever you have going on. We don't want to keep you hostage in here, so you can. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, congrats.
Thank you. We were just helping you out there a little bit, Cameron. So the next is the student board representative report, and I'll turn it over to Cameron Lipscomb.
Okay, thank you so much. Obviously, my name is Cameron Lipscomb, and I'm student board representative. So, within this past month, quite a lot has happened within the Novi Community School District. So, I'm here to talk about that from a student's perspective. So, first off, with sports, sports attendance within like the student section and just our athletes in general has been through the roof. I've been going to Novi my entire life, and I've never seen this many people at football, volleyball, and even soccer games. And field hockey, actually. It's been very nice to see our community supporting everybody else, and that's been great. I'd also like to wish people luck, such as boys tennis, who will be playing states this weekend, and girls field hockey, who have playoffs coming up within the next few weeks. So we are really, really good at field hockey. Something else I wanted to mention was college apps. Seniors have, for the ones that haven't procrastinated, have been doing pretty well with them so far. I am one of them, and it's been going really well as people have started to finally calm down a little bit. A lot of people's college essays have been written, and so people are starting to become a lot more calm, which has been very nice to see. I also wanted to touch on Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Thank you to the Novi DECA students who have fundraised for this cause, and they were the ones who made all those pink shirts for everybody, and the participation has been through the roof. With our actual football game we had last week, pink out, I have not seen that much pink ever, so that was really nice to see. And I also wanted to touch on homecoming week as just a whole. From starting off with the pep rally, I was one of the MCs this year, and I can wholeheartedly say that was very fun, and the school spirit was amazing. People were there, which was really nice, and that led to a really successful week. Following that, the parade went really, really, really well. I feel like every club that was there really got to show who they were and bring whatever they needed to bring to Novi Community School District as a whole. That went really well. I want to talk about the homecoming dance itself. Again, attendance through the roof. That was the most packed homecoming I've ever seen, which was really, really nice to be a part of. And lastly, but not least, I want to talk about the homecoming game. And we won, so that's what matters. And so overall, I mean, Novi Community School District as a whole has been doing really, really, really well. And so I want to thank everybody that's been a part of that. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Cameron. We appreciate you being here and all of your involvement, and giving kudos to your classmates and all the other students and family, community members. I loved the pink shirts for Pink Out. They're great. I meant to go down and get one, so if you guys haven't seen them, they put the word Novi in there with the pink ribbon, and they're really, really nice. So I'm sure they'll be selling them at other sporting events. So you should take a peek at them and maybe get one if you're interested. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
We are going to move on to reports to the board, and we have one report this evening. It is Feed the Need, and we're going to get an updated report, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Meinke.
Yes, thank you very much. We are very excited to have such a tremendous partnership with the Novi Rotary and the Novi Rotary Foundation. And for many of you that might be watching this board meeting or in the audience, you may not know that the Rotary and the Rotary Foundation have been supporting Feed the Need for a number of years. This has been, I think, enhanced by the tremendously talented Kim Sinclair, who is a part of our food service department, who has really made this program phenomenal. And this year it just got even better because we had the opportunity to add a program coordinator who's a district employee, somebody who's really just a great thinker and a tremendous educator in her own right. And so Ms. Sheila Ebel has taken on that role, and I'm excited tonight to hear a little bit about how the program went this year, but also some potential ideas of what this could look like in the future. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Ebel.
Hi, thanks for having us. There we go. So I'm Ms. Ebel, if some of you who don't know me, and there's some new faces here. I am representing the Novi Rotary and the Feed the Need program. So a different role than I've been talking to you in the past about, right? So I'm excited about the partnership that the Rotary has with the district, and the district's support of this program has been amazing. This group of people I have had the opportunity to work with all summer are some of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life. The Rotary are some really neat people, and I think our district's really lucky to have them supporting our students and supporting, the program this way. So with that, here's our team, our committee members. So these we meet once a month about to work on the program. Michael Kraus is here. Brian couldn't make it with us tonight, and then Ed and Marianne, we put both of them up there. I think we know them. And of course, Kim has been fantastic, and me. So that is our team that we meet with. Little table of contents going through just a very brief background this summer and then the future, what's coming. So the Rotary funds this program, and it's been in existence for 11 years. This is my first year, not even a full year yet, so I'm learning a lot. I'm in the learning phases. Their mission there is to feed a child's mind, body, and spirit in a dignified manner, and why the Novi Rotary serves hunger and inadequate access to healthy food causes poor health, so low levels of energy, and in some cases, mental impairment. So they felt it was really important to make sure we had a way students have lunches in the summer. So they, about 11 years ago, a team of people brought this program in and worked with the Rotary to have lunches served all summer long for our kids. Do you guys want to add anything from the Rotary on? No, you do. Okay. Here's a bunch of our sponsors that help with the program. Kroger does a lot for us. They're one of our biggest sponsors and contributor. Of course, you guys are there. Chartwells and Kim. Kim, like I said, she's awesome. I couldn't have got this up and running without Kim. She helped me, her and Audie helped me a ton this year to get things going. Community Financial. They donated all the coolers, right? The coolers and ice packs, which was an amazing addition from what I understand from the years past. So all of our deliveries could be done in coolers, and it was easier to cart in and out. So that was really nice. And then the library's been really involved. Julie comes over and hangs out and does programs. And of course, the Rotary is there. This summer, just kind of a snapshot of stuff that went down. New program coordinator. I do have my master's in public health also, so it was a really good fit for me to work with this program. We brought the therapy dogs every Wednesday, so that was fun. They signed up, and we had one or two almost every Wednesday came to visit. The coolers, again, were super efficient for packing the food and getting them out to all of our satellites or our drop sites. Games and arts and crafts. Tons of robotics teams like to be involved, so it was nice to. I had no idea there were so many robotics teams. I've been in this district 22 years, and there's so many things I learned behind the scenes and stuff that I had no idea about. And I had no idea so many robotics teams. So they were coming weekly, all different age group teams too, doing activities with kids. The public library, Paradise Park was amazing. They invited the kids there and they had a fun day there. Kona Ice came out on the first day. They donated their services and had free Kona Ice for the kids to go up and grab. And then the fire, the police, the ambulance, they all came out to visit throughout the summer. Some stuff to be proud of, our satellite sites. There's a list of our satellite sites: Old Dutch Farms, Oakland Glens, Novi Meadows, Pavilion Court, Highland Hills, and the high school. So those are sites where we pack the lunches and then we deliver them to those sites. And it's a numbers game. We play with numbers of how many lunches need to go there each day. And this is Monday through Friday. Lunches are going out the door. So a bunch of people coming and packing, and then a bunch of people coming with their cars and taking the coolers and delivering them. Our amazing volunteers, so around 100 volunteers probably in and out throughout the summer with all the stuff going. There's a lot, coming and going. There's some pictures of our volunteers. We served around 4,134 meals. And then we had fabulous chefs. Kathy and Joanne were amazing in the kitchen. It was fun for me, too, to learn the kitchen stuff. I've never been in the kitchen. And even at the high school, I don't go in the kitchen. So to learn what Kim and her team does, it's pretty amazing what they can pull together. And this was a smaller number, so I can't even imagine during the school year what they do. So that was fun to see. Bunch of pictures of all the different things going on, tons of volunteers. It was really nice for high school kids to build their resumes with having an opportunity to volunteer. So a lot of a lot of the high school kids were coming and volunteering, so it was fun to see all of them. And then just to wrap up the future, it looks bright. Working on better identifying satellite sites for the district, like other areas, if any of you, would suggest to. Please get with me to have drop sites. I just met with Rosalie, and we were talking about what this is going to become would be a great drop site to bring people to our wellness center. Even have a cooler here or have a fridge here for them to swing by and pick up their lunches, as we get this site going. Working on more community connections, building those connections with everybody and continuing to work with our sponsors and finding more sponsors for the district, and then more ways to develop and improve the child's mind, body, and spirit during the summer months when some of them are at home and they're not coming to school every day and having a place to go. And it sounds like the Wellness Center, too, will be a great place for that when we get this up and running, too. So, well, thank you. If you have any questions, my contact's there, and I know this goes out so people can email me or check the website there. Kim takes care of the website and keeps that running for the program. So that's all.
Thank you, Sheila. We appreciate you being here,
Yeah, thanks for having
and
us.
we appreciate you and your team and the committee coming and spending time with us. I love that after 22 years in Novi, you have taken on such an integral role and an
Yeah.
important role, and that, you haven't burnt out from Novi Community School District, and that you have learned things that maybe you didn't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I think after 22 years, you might think, gosh, I know everything about all the nooks and crannies, but I think that's amazing.
You're doing it
So
great, yeah.
thank you for your help, and this is such an important program, and hopefully more people will get involved, and we'll have more volunteers, and each
Yeah.
year, the needs as they change throughout the community can be met for our kids and our families. So
Yeah.
we appreciate you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Does
Thanks for
anybody
having
have
us.
any questions for? Yeah, please, Tom.
Thanks, Sheila, for your time, and I know you're wrapping up your first year, but I'd ask you to give this some thought, or maybe get Kim's input. As someone that's involved with Friends of Novi Schools and a community member, obviously, at this table, what's helpful for me and the people that I ask for support is to know, what do you guys really need from a priority standpoint? Because there are people in the community that are willing to give time. There's some that are able to give some of their talent, and some willing to give some of their treasure. So I just need to know, do you need money? Do you need more food? Do you need more volunteers? Right, so do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that's helpful to know if there's a priority to that. I mean, obviously, money's always good, but maybe really what you need are more drivers, or more delivery people. Or you need another person in the kitchen. So if you can think and then put pen to paper and get that back to Sheila or to the board, there's people that would love to help.
Yeah.
The question I always get is, well, what do I need?
Great.
It's,
The answer to that is all three.
I'm sure.
We need one of the things Sheila doesn't mention, the budget to run this program's round figures about $35,000 to $40,000 a year. So one of the, especially with Ed and I and the Rotary and Brian, one of the things that we're concerned about is finding additional sponsors other than Kroger's, Chartwell, to provide funding for us. So we're actively searching, and we're in negotiation with another sponsor, potential sponsor now. Whether that turns out well for us or not is yet to be seen, but there's a nut here that has to be funded, and that's one of the concerns.
So I get that. So what's, again, I know I'm being specific, but we want to help. So it might be creating, okay, here's the different ways that you could sponsor with us. Do you want to be a platinum sponsor? Do you want to be, what level? For $2,500, this is a level that you would sponsor, and here's what we would do. I mean, you could get Ed and Brian to sneak a basket in St. James on a Sunday morning. They're both ushers there, right? So just, even if they
I
only.
didn't know that.
Yes, even if they only get their rows, there's a few $100 we could sneak out. I don't think Ed would care, so, anyway, so just, more information would be helpful.
Very good. Thank you very
We'll
much.
pass that along. We're planning on meeting tomorrow from around 2 to 4 here to build the program a little bit more for next year, to make some tweaks and see where we're gonna go with that. So
Perfect. Thanks, Sheila.
definitely, we'll be in touch with you.
Appreciate the input. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Thanks, Tom. Do we have any other questions? Okay. Thank you guys for being here this
Thank you.
evening. We are going to move on to our next agenda item, which is comments from the audience. Anybody who would like to speak to the board, you can give, there's cards in the back, and I haven't received any up at the table, so I'm assuming no one is interested this evening. Is that correct? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to our consent agenda. This evening, we have a few items on our consent agenda. We have approval of the minutes of the regular meeting, September 19th, 2024, minutes of a joint curriculum DEI committee of the whole, October 7th, 2024, approval of the bills, August 2024 board report, August 2024 check register, August 2024 purchase card report. We have approval of field trips, the MHSAA field trips, the Michigan Thespian Festival, the Student Council State Conference, and the Middle School Science Olympiad Tournament. If I can get a motion? Mr. Mishner.
I move to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
I support.
Recommended by Mr. Mishner and supported by Mr. Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Our next agenda item is donations, and I will turn it over to Mr. Micah.
Thank you very much. So we have a donation this evening from the Novi Athletic Boosters. The Novi Athletic Boosters is tremendous support to our athletic programs at our high school and middle school and all of our sports programs. They're generously donating an amount of $25,214.99 to help cover the following items. The fall grants, which were $2,134.99 to field hockey for training equipment, $1,080 to cross country for recovery kits, and $370 to football for some additional training. They are also purchasing strength and conditioning support from July and August for $3,630. And the big ticket item is the Huddle AD package, which allows all of our sports programs in the district to have access to Huddle, which is a tremendously valuable tool to be able to watch film and also break down game footage for our student athletes, and that's in the amount of $18,000. The total donation is $25,214.99, and it's presented to the district board for approval with appreciation and thanks.
Thank you. If I can get a motion. Mrs. Beaudoin?
Mr. Mena is prepared to make.
Oh, please. Sorry, Mr.
Yeah, I
Mena.
move the board accept this generous donation totaling in the amount of $25,214.99 from the Novi Athletic Boosters with appreciation and thanks.
Do we have
I'll
support? Recommended by Mr. Mena and supported by Mrs. Beaudoin. Do we have any comments or questions?
I could tell you that.
Thank you.
You know, as somebody, I spent a lot of time helping out with the Huddle package, and it's a pretty incredible tool for all of our teams. And as part of the Huddle Athletic AD package, you know, there are additional things that come with it. For example, the football team gets what's called their Huddle Sideline package, which allows coaches to see replays of plays within 3 seconds after it actually takes place. The nice thing is that we're able to also tap into that system to do replays on the video board. We also have Huddle Focus cameras in different locations, one for soccer, one for football, and one in the performance gym. So all of those games are recorded now, and in fact, we're starting to go live on fan.huddle.com so folks can actually watch games live on there, as well as the NFHS network. We're also able to tap into those cameras as well and leverage that in order to do some stuff with video on our video board. So it's been a really great package, and something that I personally see being used by all of our sports teams today.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Thank you, Mr. Mena, for explaining what that was. I appreciate that. I was wondering, like, it seems like it's probably something cool at that price point, but glad to know what it is.
I would just like to say, besides this monetary donation, it probably would be helpful to put a shout out to our Novi athletic boosters in general. They earn a lot of money, they raise a lot of money and bring it back to our athletic teams, and they're parent volunteers. They're athlete parent volunteers, and they put a lot of time and effort and energy into athletics here at Novi Community School District. So I think it's very important that we recognize them and acknowledge all the time and effort that they really do put in, because it supports many, many kids within our district. So a thank you to them if any of you are watching and listening. That being said, I think we're ready for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. We will move on to our action items. We have 3 action items this evening. We will first start with Personnel Report A.
Thank you very much. I will turn that over to Dr. Carino.
Thank you. This evening, we have several recommendations for your consideration. We recommend Maureen Donahue as the 6th grade teacher at Novi Meadows. Maureen comes to us with previous elementary education experience in the Walled Lake Consolidated School District and the Bering Strait School District. We also recommend Dr. Mridula Nanda for the high school science teacher position. Dr. Nanda has previously served as a long-term teacher in Novi and completed her secondary education alternate route to teacher certification and received her PhD in physics from the University of Calcutta. We also recommend Catherine Shabanak for a special education self-contained paraprofessional position at Village Oaks. Catherine has previously served as an early childhood educator and guest teacher. We also recommend Kruti Goswami for a special education self-contained paraprofessional position at Novi Meadows. Kruti previously worked at General Motors. This evening, we also recommend Lindsay McLaren for the special education self-contained paraprofessional position at Village Oaks. Lindsay has previous marketing and sales experience at Ford Motor Company and Northwestern Mutual. Michael Turner is being recommended as a bus driver. Michael comes to us with corporate experience from Family Dollar and Dollar General. We also recommend Rachel Doa as an adult education GED teacher at our Roar building. Rachel was previously an English language arts teacher in Dearborn and did her teaching internship previously at Novi High School. Finally, we recommend Elizabeth Young for the career preparation art teacher position. Elizabeth has worked as a paraprofessional and previously served as the interim executive director for the Novi Community Coalition. She has also designed and managed several local art programs. We also have a few retirements and resignations. Catherine Harris has resigned from her position as a history teacher at Novi Middle School. Erica Jenkins has resigned from her position as a 6th grade teacher at Meadows. Samantha Jodwin has resigned from her school social work position at Village Oaks. Tabitha Stanley has resigned from her position as a special education paraprofessional at Novi Middle School. Lisa Laporte has decided to retire in January from her district instructional coach position. Brett Meyer has decided to retire at the conclusion of the year from his high school science teacher position. And Robert Kuhlman, our district electrician and carpenter, has opted to retire in December. We thank Lisa, Brett, and Bob for their years of service to the district and the positive impact that they have made on our students and staff. We wish each of them well in the next chapter after Novi, and this concludes tonight's personnel report.
Thank you, Dr. Carino. If I can get a recommendation, please, from the board member. Mrs. Roney?
That the Novi Community School Board District of Ed adopts the personnel report as recommended. Sorry.
Do we have support?
Support.
Recommended by Mrs. Roney and supported by Mrs. Bodwine. Do we have any comments or questions? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Would you like to introduce who we have here tonight?
Yes, we have a few members of the new staff with us tonight. So in no particular order, we would like to bring up Maureen Donahue. You can go right after that.
My name is Maureen Donahue. I'm excited and thrilled to accept this position. Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank
Thank you.
Do you have someone with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
My mom.
Congratulations.
Dr. Mridula Nanda.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mridula Nanda, and I am really honored to stand before you as a new member of the Novi Wildcat family. And I came here 10 years back with a PhD and with a dream of becoming an educator. And today I can proudly say that my dream has finally come true. And this journey wouldn't have been possible without the support and encouragement from everyone in this district. And I deeply feel grateful to all of them for all their support, for all their help, encouragement, and for inspiring me to become an educator. A special thanks goes to my husband and our beloved daughter, the Bashmi. As I embark on this new chapter of my life, my mission is to ignite the curiosity and inspire my students to take science, not just as a subject, but to use it as a lens to understand the world around them in a better way. And I do believe that everyone has a potential to be a believer, to be a critical thinker, and it is my privilege to help them realize their potential. Thank you for welcoming me in this wonderful community, and I look forward to making positive impact on the lives of our students and in our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Our high school students are going to love you. Can we all come to your science class? Especially Mr. Smith over here. He's going to be your first in line.
I will join that field. Next up is Lindsay McLaren.
Hi, thank you so much. It is quite an honor to be a part of the Novi school system and to be at Village Oaks as a para this year. I'm just excited to work with all these young, beautiful minds and collaborate with the teachers and watch them succeed and have a beautiful year. So thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Lindsay.
And Rachel, so?
I feel like I need to gather myself a little bit after that beautiful speech. I don't know if the emotions are me as a person or maybe I'm carrying, but I'm feeling it. So I'm Rachel. I'm the new GED teacher at the Rohr Center, and I'm extremely excited to be back in the Novi district after student teaching here 8 years ago. So I'm really thrilled to continue working with all of the wonderful people that I've met and the lovely students I've had a chance to get to know just over the past week or so. So, thank you.
Welcome back, Rachel.
Thank you. And Elizabeth Young was not able to be here this evening. She was ill, but she asked me to share that she is having a good time working with the career prep students and believe that they are great students with amazing potential. So I just wanted to share that on her behalf.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
Can I?
Sure, of course.
So first, I just wanted to say thank you for that wonderful speech. And sitting up here for a couple of years now, that is like the most excited acceptance I have heard. And that was just moving and wonderful and like why we are all here. So thank you for your enthusiasm and passion for our students. It's thrilling. And also wanted to extend congratulations to Katie Shavanek, who's going to be a special ed para at VO. She's been, I think, a building sub there for a while, and I know she is beloved and will be a very welcome full-time addition. So, and congratulations to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Beaudwine. Okay, we will move on to our next item, which is the OCSBA bylaws amendment approval. Mr. Micah.
Yes, the Oakland County School Boards Association Resolution and Bylaw Committee reviews and recommends amendments to the association bylaws annually. These are submitted to all of you, and those have to be sent back with an approval by October 31st, which is why you're seeing it on the agenda for approval tonight. The summary of the proposed language and rationale for that was presented to the board, and then the ballot for the district's vote on the 2024 resolution. So the Novi Community School District Board of Education, the recommendation is to approve the bylaws amendment as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Micah. If I can get a motion, Mr. Mishner?
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approves the proposed OCSBA bylaws amendment as presented.
Do we have support? Recommended by Mr. Mishner, supported by Mrs. Roney. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Our final action item this evening is the NCSD Wellness Center approval. I will turn that over to Mr. Micah.
Yeah, so this, at our last board meeting, Ms. Johnson, our Director of Mental Health and Wellness, came and presented along with Stuart Reich, who's our project manager from King Scott, the preliminary concept plan of the new Novi Wellness Center that came to you for information and discussion. They showed a potential layout and discussed possible programs that would be able to be supported in the Wellness Center. They also outlined procedures and guidelines for how the Wellness Center could operate. Obviously, right now, this is all a concept, so we're going to be continuing to refine that if you approve this evening. The conceptual plan for the Wellness Center comes back for your approval. If approved, that will kick us into schematic design. And in addition to that, a more concrete and sustainable funding model will be able to be developed for the Wellness Center, as well as a policy set for the board to consider detailing the parameters of the center that we'll all be able to present to you in future meetings. So prior to the final construction plans being presented to the board for approval, the district will provide the funding model as well as those policies for consideration. Moving forward tonight with your approval, we'll be able to start that process in partnership with several of our partners here in the community. And Ms. Johnson has done a lot of work to prepare for this really what I believe is going to be a tremendously innovative and helpful program for our district. So the recommendation is that the district approve the concept plan as presented this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Micah. Mr. Smith?
Sure, I recommend that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the Novi Wellness Center concept plan as presented.
Do we have support? Recommended by Mr. Smith and supported by Mrs. Roney. We have any comments or questions? I know there's a lot to be worked through. Go ahead, Mr. Mendo.
Sure, so we did see the plans, excited as we move forward with that, and I'm sure there's probably still more thoughts happening, more changes happening. My assumption is that we're approving now just the plans. There'll be another motion to come in the near future for actual financing.
Yeah, so basically this first layer just kind of says, we all agree this is what we're gonna do, we're gonna move in this direction. The next steps really are the design becomes more refined, and then also we start working on taking that refinement to potential people that could, corporations and places that might want to sponsor and partner with this type of a program so that we can build that sustainable funding model. We'll be able to bring that plan back to the board for approval along with some policy sets that'll go through the policy committee just to kind of codify what we've been describing through this process. And then the final step would be after bids are taken on the final drawings, we would bring those back for approval of the board before anything would start.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Seeing none, I think we are ready for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you to, there's many people to thank, but really thank you to Rosalie and her team for all the work that has been done this far and the work that will be done moving forward to get this solidified and to bring more information forward to the board. So, thank you. We will move on to information and discussion. We have 2 items this evening. We have the emergency virtual day discussion, so I will turn that over to Mr. Micah.
Thank you. So I'm going to try and say this as the most professional way as I can, but there's a pupil accounting manual that's released every year, and we received that pupil accounting manual about a month and a half into school. So just to kind of give you an idea of how efficient sometimes the systems are. But we learned this year that one of the changes in the new pupil accounting manual is that our emergency virtual days plan has to be approved annually. So you'll recall that last year we brought a plan to you as a board, which essentially allows myself as the superintendent to call a virtual day for a myriad of reasons. Oftentimes, it might be, we have a testing event, right? And sometimes it might be that we have, in last year's case, we had a vote, right, that was going on at a time that was a little bit atypical. So the school district's permitted to hold up to 15 emergency days. Basically, our plan is listed as you see there, allows us to hold school in a virtual setting up to 4 days. And we'll schedule those as needed. I don't necessarily intend to schedule 4 every year, but there are conversations that we're having. By way of example, we have a large population of students where English is their second language, and one of the challenges that we've had is trying to pull those students out of instructional time to make sure that we're doing the assessments that they need. And so if we were to run one of these days by way of the spring, for example, we would be able to do all of our students' testing that need that and leverage our staff appropriately so that we have the manpower to do it efficiently. And that would be a tremendous savings to the students' contact time, right? So we have, about 35% of our district or more are in this group of students, and it would allow us a tremendous opportunity to meet their needs. So that's an example. Traditionally, at the high school level, if we have PSAT testing or, a large state test, certain grade levels of students are meeting virtually while the others are coming in person. So this is just to basically reiterate the plan that we talked about last year. We will have to bring this same plan forward every year for approval, and essentially it's just here reaffirming what we did last year. It's here for information, and then obviously we would ask you to approve it at next month's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Micah. Do we have any questions? Mr. Mishner?
Yeah, just one point of clarification. So it sounds like, and you probably explained this last year, but it doesn't have to be a district-wide virtual day. It can be by building as well?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
And Mr. Jeremini, you might have something to add.
It could be by building or even by grade level. So we might ask the 9th and 10th graders and 12th graders to stay home for their virtual day, while we have the 11th graders in the building for their SAT testing, just as an example.
Okay,
Thank you. Mrs. Bodwine?
This is not so much a question, but a comment for anyone watching. We discussed at length last year, but I want to reiterate, and we'll probably say again next time, this is not about snow days. So anybody looking at this going, oh my gosh, we are getting rid of snow days, we are not getting rid of snow days. This is providing flexibility for other circumstances, and we will still hopefully have some lovely music videos and the
Never
occasional
know.
snow day, we'll see. But so, to our students, please do not panic, it will be okay.
Thank you for bringing that up. I actually kind of forgot that happened.
I had a
so,
lot of people
yeah.
ask me about it last year, so I just want to preemptively state that we are not going to abolish snow days.
Perfect.
Not one here.
We don't want to get our houses egged. Any other questions? Okay, so this will come back to us at the next board meeting in November. So, thank you. We will move on to our committee reports. There is one committee report. It's actually kind of a dual committee
I
report.
think we skipped something. Maintenance.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
we
have to
did,
get-
maintenance. Luckily, there's no maintenance people out there. They'd be really angry with me if they were
so
sitting here all this time. Okay,
Sure.
maintenance equipment purchase discussion,
Yeah,
Mr.
so
Micah.
this is info and discussion as we follow our process of bringing something to you and then asking for approval at the next meeting. Mr. DeGroot has gone through and we've identified a couple areas that we need some additional items. One is our custodial equipment. There's several pieces, 11 custodial pieces of equipment that need to be replaced. These are our equipment. The district owns the equipment. They do not belong to EnviroClean. EnviroClean uses them, but they haven't been replaced in quite a long time, and I know Ms. Cicluna has been working on that as well. We also have a scissor lift, which allows us to reach higher than our usual levels, and we've had a number of things that have had to happen with roofs and things like that for our maintenance department. And so this will lift a person up to 32 feet off the ground, which is an improvement over our current lift. So we looked through the competitive bid situation, and we were able to find the best prices for those items. The total cost for all the items is $135,216.98. It's just there for your information, and then obviously there are some quotes attached that you're welcome to look through. And I'd entertain any questions before the next board meeting if you have them related to the pieces of equipment, so.
Thank you, Mr. Meinke. Do we have any urgent questions? If not, certainly if something comes up as you're looking through this and you have any specific questions, you can get them to Mr. Meinke and he'll get the information that we all need to vote on this at our next meeting in November. Okay, thank you. Now we'll move on to the committee reports, which is still an unusual committee report because it's a dual committee. We had a joint curriculum and DEI committee of the whole meeting on October 7th. And so we'll let both of you, if you'd like, unless you were going to do it together.
If you
but
want to cover it, that's fine, and if there's anything to add at the end, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, I'll cover the, for the DEI portion. We just had 3 simple topics, just to check in, basically to align the work that the district is doing with our newly approved goals. So just talked about how we're doing supporting our staff, because that's one of our new goals that was approved over the summer. Looking to make sure that we're doing a great job with our staff and that our retention numbers stay within our stated goal of 3% or less. As far as, and then the other goal we had was district DEI events at each of our district buildings. And so Mr. Jeremini gave us a great update. We have scheduled events for all of our K through 4 buildings so far. And I would encourage the community to attend these. They're open to the community. And it's a great way to find out about others living in your area, find out about other cultures, and there's usually some tasty food around, I've been told. So it's a good experience. So the first one coming up in the pipeline this year is November 19th. Parkview is going to have their multicultural night at 6:30. The next 2, both Village Oaks and Orchard Hills, will be having theirs on November the 22nd. So maybe you can double dip and it's, kind of figure out which one you like better. They're both starting in the evening. Orchard Hills goes first at 5, and then Village Oaks will follow at 6. Deerfield is combining what there was their multicultural night with their holiday night, so now it's called Holidays Around the World. That'll be happening December 9th. And then Novi Woods will have theirs at their traditional time in January. The exact date is still TBD. Our older buildings are still working out exactly when their events will, so I'll keep the community posted as those dates become available for Meadows, the middle school, and the high school respectively. And we also will have a district-wide multicultural event this year in June to kind of cap off the school year. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for exactly when that'll be, but that'll be in probably the first week of June.
Thank you.
And then one other thing. We did go over communication and how we're doing a good job making sure communication is accessible to all. And just some very interesting notes that Mr. Jermaine was able to share with the board is our website, for example, is designed so that it translates well into a multitude of different languages. It also works well for those that are visually and hearing impaired. So if there's ever a part of the website that you feel like is clunky or cumbersome, some of that is due to the very intentional formatting of that site so they can be translated to other users with different levels of ability and different needs as far as communication. So that's why our website sometimes looks and acts the way it does. So that was very insightful for me to learn that. Also, the district one-to-one technology policy, part of that is DEI related in the sense that it ensures that all of our students have equal access to technology at home. So they're all able to have the same access to complete their assignments, do their studies, so on and so forth. And that's one of the reasons why even after the pandemic and the immediate need for, laptops and iPads for the younger students has kind of faded a little bit, the district is still maintaining that because we want to make sure that everybody has access. And the district also goes as far as to provide Wi-Fi hotspots to those families that may need that and do not have adequate internet in their households. So we really are truly trying to make sure that we're providing an astounding education for everybody in our district, make sure that everybody has all the opportunities available to them to be able to achieve their full potential.
Thank you, Mr. Misher. Mrs. Bodvine, do you have anything to add from a curriculum standpoint?
I do, yes.
Thank you.
We set this up as a joint meeting of DEI and curriculum. And we wanted to go through the things Mr. Misher mentioned, and then also our overall test data with the iReady data, M-STEPs and PSATs, all those scores, and that is all broken out into a lot of the subgroups that we watch. So we kept an eye on our individual subgroups that we kind of monitor for improvements, and also looked at the overall trends and talked about the strategies that the curriculum team is using to bridge some of the gaps there. So it was a very productive meeting. I felt like we had a lot of great conversation and have some great ideas going forward. And very happy with the way things are moving in the direction that we are going, so.
Thank you for that. And thank you both for your leadership and chairing both of those committees. So we appreciate you as a board. Okay, we will move on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Micah?
Thank you very much. It's been a busy month already. It seems like things kind of have settled in, and I think people are in the routines. Obviously, a lot of the events like our fall play and certainly our music concerts are starting to get scheduled and coming up soon, and a lot of our sports programs are already wrapping up the fall season. But it's been a really great start to the year. I wanted to just update the board on a few items. First of all, I've started meeting with my student teams, my student superintendent advisory teams. The students are really fired up to talk about cell phones. And it's actually surprising because they're not wanting to talk about it in a way that you think. While there certainly are some students that don't like to have the Yonder pouches, I think collectively between the three large buildings, they're pretty happy with what they're finding in terms of their interactions with their peers. It's the growing pains of going through it, but it's been really interesting to get their feedback early and just on other things. So it's nice to meet with the students and hear directly from them. I also wanted to just point your attention to the podcast, Courageous Curiosity podcast that we offer here. Had the opportunity to sit down with a couple legislators as well as a couple of our students from the high school debate team. And as we approach the political season, a lot of times things can get fairly hostile in terms of the ability for people to have civility in the conversations, even within their own families. So I think there was some really interesting things that I took away from the conversation. So I would encourage people to tune into that. We have one that'll be released on Tuesday, speaking with a couple alumni and a couple of our current student athletes, talking about the role of educational athletics and what that has done for some of our students as they've left us and gone on to great things. I want to just touch a little bit on conferences. Conference season is here. We have middle school conferences today and yesterday. Next week is Meadows. We also have our elementary and high school conferences in November. There is going to be a slight change to spring conferences. When we originally negotiated the calendar, we did not recognize that Ash Wednesday falls on the conference date for spring conferences, so we're going to be announcing some changes to that as well. I also wanted to just remind everybody that we have a much anticipated fall break coming up, and so that is going to be our first experiment of really kind of seeing kids and adults have a little bit of a hiatus for this long stretch of the beginning of the school year. It's the longest stretch traditionally that a school has. So I'm excited for the students to have a 5-day break and the staff to have a 4-day break. One of the days on election day is a professional learning day. So I think it's going to be a nice opportunity. A lot of our families that celebrate Diwali will be able to do that. And I also think one of the nice components, and probably our staff is most excited about, is that our students do not have school the day after Halloween. So we're all excited about that as well. So thank you for your support as a board and to our community. It's been a great start to the year. I'm looking forward to just keeping the momentum going.
Thank you, Mr. Micah. We appreciate you and all that information. We are going to move on to our administrative reports. And we are going to start with, I want to make sure I don't butcher your name, Miss Cicluna. Did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Welcome. I don't think we've had a chance to formally meet, so welcome and thank you. I'll give you time for your report.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure meeting you. I don't think I've met a few of you, so thank you for giving me this opportunity. I will say, I've been in the district for a couple weeks now, and I've had the opportunity to visit every building and sit down and meet with all of our principals. And it's just going to be a privilege to be able to serve them. The one thing that I've been communicating is really my vision for how I foresee my team operating and how we interact with other departments and the administrators and the principals. I really look at my function as a customer service function. My team and I are here to serve, right? We might be the keepers of financial information and we might be experts in the nuances of school accounting and the rules and regulations we have to follow, but we are here to provide that information and enable our administrators to serve and to teach our students in our community in the way that they are best capable to. And I really think that in working as a customer service in that nature, it allows our administrators and our teachers to feel supported and go into their classrooms and serve our students in the best way because they know that they are backed and provided by their administrators. So that's the vision that I've been emphasizing and communicating out both internally with my team and as I meet with principals. It's a core value in how I operate, so I'm really excited to serve in that capacity in this community. I do have a few business updates to share with the board as well. A status update on the 3 EV vans that were purchased. They have been delivered to the Hook Equipment Garage where they will be outfitted as 10 passenger vehicles. There is a minimum of a 4-week lead time before they are delivered to the district, so they're getting built out. We're kind of in this holding period right now. As far as the custodial equipment needs, we kind of touched on this already, but I am working with Mike, our Director of Maintenance and Ops, to really update the purchase schedule and align and prioritize the purchases with cash flow. So more to come at the next board meeting on that. This past Sunday was the Japan Festival that we hosted at the high school, and I had a quick opportunity to jump in and kind of fill Ben's shoes and speak on behalf of the community school district, and it was just really nice. It was an amazing event. I have a heart for Japan, and actually my son does too, so I took my kids with me. They participated in some of the festivities, and I really just thanked that community for allowing us to serve the students that are within our district and for the continued partnership that we have with them. It was really nice. And then last but not least, something that we're getting excited about, our food service team, which is led by Kim Sinclair, is solidifying a plan to host a cooking competition for our high school students. The competition will focus on cultural dishes that hold personal significance to the participants and will include a judging process and prizes awarded to the top 3 teams. The food service team is targeting March 2025 for the competition, so more to come.
Awesome. Thank you for jumping in with both feet and for sharing your vision with the board that you're sharing out to administrators and to all the buildings. That's really appreciated and will make for a real collaborative team effort. So we appreciate you. Thank you. Dr. Carino.
Thank you. Our team has been working on updating our CSTAG, which is our comprehensive school threat assessment process, as well as our Columbia suicide risk assessment process, and sharing that information with staff so that we make sure that we are updated with our new board policies and making sure that all of our staff who conduct those assessments understand what resources are available and what the practices are. We switched to a digital model this year, so it's much more accessible for staff to share information that's needed across the district and provide the resources to families and students in a timely manner. We also are currently in the finalization of the process of organizing our student, staff, and family surveys for our culture and climate. So our students will take those surveys beginning on October 21st, and more information to come for families as well as staff. This will be done twice a year to give us kind of information about where we stand as a district in regard to making improvements. And it's very important for us, especially from a talent management and development department, to look at our staff surveys and see where we can do better to meet their needs and celebrate the successes that we have in the district. Also, Jeff Dinkelman is working on a stay interview process. So right now, when we have new staff added to the district, we kind of meet with them to see how their induction and onboarding has been going. But we want to extend that to beyond the first year. So we want to make sure that we have a robust process going on in years 2, 3, 4, and 5, that we have new staff in the district to see how that evolves over the course of time. So that will be something that he will be developing to make sure that we have certain touch points with new staff throughout the year, as well as talking with veteran staff through the surveys to get their feedback on what we're doing well and what maybe we could change. Therapy dogs are doing well. They are just really making a difference in the buildings. They're going to events. As Mrs. Ebel had shared, we are having them go out to the community in different events and activities so that they're visible. Luca was at the Baseline Blitz this weekend, and so just really finding opportunities for them to connect with students and families in the community as much as possible, in addition to being in the schools each day. And then finally, just continuing our wellness center planning. Obviously more to come on that, but finalizing different, renderings from the architects and looking at our needs, and really just making plans that are intentional and thoughtful that will meet the needs of our staff and students and community. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carino, for all that information. You wear a lot of hats over there. Mr. Jeremini.
Thank you, Dr. Russell. I first want to acknowledge Lisa Laporte, who was mentioned on the personnel report. She has had an absolutely tremendous career in this district. It is the only district that she has ever worked in, which I think is awesome. Just amazing contributions here, especially in the area of mathematics and really understanding what kids need to be successful and how teachers can make that happen. She is an integral part of our coaching team, and she is going to be dearly, dearly missed. Those will be hard shoes to fill, and I will grudgingly congratulate her in January, but I'm waiting till then. As Mr. Micah mentioned, November 5th is a district-provided professional development day. It's the last one for the calendar year. We get a little break before we come back in February for those days. Our team is working hard to prepare for that. The PSAT NMSQT that Mr. Micah mentioned earlier, as we recognize our National Merit Scholars, this year's juniors are going to be taking that assessment at the end of October, and then that's the test that is used to recognize and determine who those kids are for the National Merit Program. We know that change is always challenging, and our new literacy programs present no exception to that rule. It's hard, right? There's a lot of new learning to be done. I have visited many classrooms over the last few weeks, and I'm just encouraged and proud of the commitments and efforts of our teachers, our principals, our coaches. It's really good. They're doing the thing. They're doing exactly what they should be doing. They are trying. The expectation is not perfection, right? It's the first year. It's the first month even in some of the cases. So they're doing a great job, and I'm just looking forward to continuing learning and growth together. I think Mr. Michener had mentioned the strategic plan in his summary report. I've been working on the strategic plan dashboard. That is quite a project. I'm working with Excellence, our data analysis third-party consultant, to really build the proper data pipelines so that we have the clear measures of success and we have the data that goes into that, and everything goes automatically. We're setting up codes so that the dashboard can be updated automatically and easily accessible. This year is going to be a lot of baseline years, so a lot of the measures of success connect to those panorama surveys that Dr. Carino mentioned. But I am assured that this is going to be a pretty slick dashboard when it's completed, including graphic design and all of those elements. So I'm really excited about that. And then finally, I just want to echo the sentiments from earlier and from the board about our principals. We know that the teachers are the most important factor in the kids' experience when it comes to learning, but principals are one of the highest factors when you think about the next level of influence. We can't do the things we do as a district without our principals. They make it happen. They provide the focus, the energy, the two-way feedback. They are essential, and I'm just really grateful for the ones that we have in this district. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Jeremini. We'll move on to board communication. If any board members have anything that hasn't been shared that they'd like to share, Mr. Michener?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the administrative cabinet for all the good news. It's exciting to hear that the 3 EV buses are finally almost here. It's also equally exciting to hear that we're going to use the panorama surveys and they'll be rolling out soon. And it's really exciting to hear about a dashboard. So looking forward to looking at all the data and free graphs. I also thought it's very interesting, I've been paying attention as we do our personnel reports, and Dr. Carino, it seems like we are doing a fairly good job of providing a pretty consistent pipeline from student teaching all the way up to full hires, and also for those full-time temporary teachers to matriculate all the way into full-time employment with the district. So that's very encouraging that the time invested in developing those professionals at an early stage is benefiting them, but also paying off for the district. So that's pretty exciting to see. And then lastly, I do appreciate the servant leadership approach that you were projecting. So looking forward to seeing how that integrates into the district. And welcome on board officially. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mishner. Any more board communication? Any other comments?
Anybody else have?
Go ahead, you go.
Okay. So I'm having some 2020 flashbacks because Mr. Jarvis texted me from the basement that when I thanked our principals, I was evidently muted. So if you would all please bear with me, I would like to thank them in a way that they may actually hear.
Please.
So it is National Principal Appreciation Month. And I mentioned before, I have had experience with kids in most of these buildings, but not all of them. But I have had nothing but absolutely wonderful experiences with our principals and the building level team there. So I wanted to recognize how challenging of a job that is. They go from dealing with coaching teachers to crying children and dealing with parents and just all of the different things that they have to deal with, and the amount of times through a day that they have to switch from one type of interaction to another type. I just think it's a very special person who is able to do that job with such great success. And so I just wanted to thank all of our principals here, and you are seen, you are appreciated, and as Mr. Giarmini mentioned, that role is so critical to the success and culture of our buildings and such a huge part of what makes us such a great district. So in a way that you may all hear me, thank you so much. We appreciate you, and as the board echoed earlier. So that was the first thing. And as Mr. Minka mentioned, Diwali will begin before our next meeting. So I just wanted to wish those who celebrate a season filled with love and light. And also congratulations to the high school theater team on their excellent production of Take Two. I know a couple of the board members for sure made that there. It was an absolutely great show. It was a bunch of mini skits, and then at the end of each show, they would turn off the lights, yell Take Two, and redo the end. And it was really fun for me as someone who is growing to appreciate theater, because they didn't really change the words they said, but they changed how they said it, and the interaction ended completely differently. So it was a very fun thing to me, and they said that's part of what they do in rehearsals, is practicing how they want the show to, these words, how will it present to the community? So that was very fun for me. And tomorrow night is the middle school play, The Hobbit. And I know the kids there have been working on it very, very hard. And Mr. Green is directing that play. So I believe it starts at 7:30 tomorrow. And if you have a chance, make it out there. I know the kids would appreciate having a full house. And finally, Mr. Giamini mentioned the literacy program and some of the challenges that our staff is having with this new program. And so I wanted to address that as well from a parent and board member perspective. So I know that this is hard for our teachers to learn a new thing, especially our veteran teachers. I know that it is difficult in, they now have very prescribed things they're saying and doing. And it's a challenge, but I wanted to share what I shared with my daughter's 4th grade teacher, is that I do see already a huge change in what is coming home from my child. So I can't say this is universal, but my child came home and was telling me about the wit and wisdom lesson that they had that day. And she said, is this literal or is this figurative language? And we went back and forth, because a few of the examples honestly could have gone either way, right? So you take your heart everywhere you go, and my husband and I are like, well, I mean, you literally do, and also, sure, it's figurative, but that is probably the first time she has come home and retaught us her ELA lesson. And so for all of our teachers who are struggling, I just wanted to share that story, because when I communicated that with Mrs. Hand, she said that made her day, because it is a challenge that they are doing, and we see and appreciate that growing is hard. But I do think we're on a great path here, and with their continued effort and yours, this is going to be, I think, a wonderful thing for everybody. So that concludes. Thank you so much. Appreciate your patience with my muting myself earlier.
Thank you for sharing. And we only had one redo, all the other stuff was.
All the rest was new.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I was like, oh, I was muted. That's perfect.
Mr. Smith?
I just want to piggyback, Betsy, on the take two that you talked about with the theater group. Heather always does a great job with that, and the senior, David Lowry, was his first directorial student debut, so that went well. I just want to encourage the public. I'm going to work with Heather and a couple of the other students. That's all student-driven, and there was a young lady that was doing publicity for that, and it was her first time doing that. But I know there are community members that will go down to the Fisher or the Fox, and they'll actually see a play or a musical, and they don't have kids that are in it. They go down to support the arts, and they go down to be entertained for 90 minutes or an hour and 45 minutes or an hour, whatever. It's entertainment, and it gets you out, and it's something to do. I know from being behind the curtain that when you peek out and you don't see a full house, it's not as cool as when you peek out and you see it standing remotely. So I just want to encourage the community to support our arts. I know that the football game has people in the stands that don't necessarily have a kid that's playing or cheering or in the band. They come to support the team and to support the school, and it doesn't end with athletics. It continues on with our performance arts as well. So please support us in that regard.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I appreciate you saying that, because I didn't know about it, and I last Thursday went to the Tipping Point Theater in Northville
Right.
and have season tickets for that, and I would love to come and watch some
I'm
really
gonna help 'em.
talented students. So I appreciate that and the help that you're gonna give so that we all know when and where to show up. So appreciate it. Any other board communication?
I'd just like to welcome Becca. I look forward to working with you, and hope you have a great school year.
I just wanted to say, if you're not gonna go see The Hobbit tomorrow, which sounds like an amazing, great opportunity, then you could come to the football game. I feel like I'm gonna get my hands slapped here after all this.
I was thinking there was something else tomorrow.
Yes,
I didn't remember what
yeah.
it is. So yes,
So it's the
there's
Novi Northville
Baseline
rivalry,
Oh, yeah.
baseline judge
Yes.
football game. But prior to that, the NEF is hosting a tailgate, and I heard that, I think Rory's gonna be there, if y'all know who Rory
Yeah.
is. And they're gonna have some other great food, and it's an opportunity for us to support the Education Foundation and all the great work that they do. So I know they're having some raffles if you donate a certain amount of money, and you have from K to, I think, 6th grade, then there's an opportunity to win one prize, and then 6th through 8th, something else. And then if you're a 9th through 12th grader, apparently you get to have an opportunity to sit, I don't
On
even
the
know what
couch?
this is, on a couch at the,
End zone.
thank you. I'm so glad that, I mean, I watch a lot of football, and I probably couldn't have even spewed that out, but, yeah, so I thought, well, I want to sit on the couch on the end zone, but I guess I'm not in 12th grade anymore, so.
The game's at Northville tomorrow?
It is at
So
Northville.
is it tailgate at Northville? Are they
Everything
doing it?
is at Northville, yeah, yeah.
Hey, I forgot to mention, Kim, if you're looking for judges in March of 2025, Willie and I we're willing to judge that food cooking contest.
Yeah, we're connoisseurs of international food, great
some chili in
judges,
there.
experienced
just
judges.
smile and nod.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you. Okay, if I can get a motion to adjourn the meeting this evening?
Motion to adjourn?
Do we have a support?
Support.
Recommended by Mr. Mishner and supported by Mrs. Roney. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 6-0. Thank you, guys.